See, now Dr. Espiritu, we're live.
All right.
You know, wow, what a great pleasure. I'm here in 5 Points.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
Hanging out with Dr. Rachele Espiritu.
You've got the pronunciation down perfect.
You know, listen, when I talked to you on the phone, well, first we met at I was doing the keynote at the Prep Academy.
Yes.
Graduation.
And it was great.
It was powerful to see those young people who overcame a lot of obstacles graduate.
I think the pathway schools actually have some of my most favorite graduation ceremonies because I know the challenges that our students face and what they have gone through in order to get to that point in their high school career. And to me, it's so touching to hear their stories and to know the perseverance and the courage that they've had to get to where they are, and to celebrate that with their families too, is wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you what. We talked earlier, and I said, should I refer to you as Dr. Espiritu or Rachele?
Yeah.
And you said Rachele is fine.
Yes.
And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I celebrate all of your accomplishments, but to be able to say, but you know, Rachele is cool.
Thank you. And I have to say, Brother Jeff, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a wife and I'm a mother. I mean, I think those are the most important roles I will ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And being a parent to 2 wonderful boys who are DPS students has been the greatest gift of my life. And to be able to watch them grow and to thrive in our schools has been amazing. And I think that's important to me.
And so right now, you are currently on the school board.
I am.
And you were selected because Landry Taylor, he resigned to spend time with his family and do some of those things.
Yeah.
Wow. What have you learned? What has this experience been like?
So, when the position opened up, I knew that I had to apply. Somebody asked me to apply, and I also knew that I had so much perspective and experience to share with the school board that was different. I bring a background in clinical psychology, and so my focus has been on the whole child needs of our students and recognizing that we have to go beyond academics. Our students are growing up in environments that are so different than what many of us grew up in, and we need to be able to wrap our arms around students and support them in that way. I also bring a background in addressing health disparities. And
I'm passionate about health disparities.
I think that's where we need to focus on, too, is that we need to be healthy in all aspects of our life. Mental health, spiritual health, everything, physical health. And so, to me, that's really important, and I bring that work and the systems change I've done to the board. And it's been so exciting to be able to bring that perspective to the work.
See, now, if you look at this, people started asking questions, and someone just said, what is her name? So let's just introduce yourself and give a little bit of background. Talk to them. Tell them who you are.
Right. Hi. So I'm Rachele Espiritu. I'm the current school board member for District 4. I represent the largest district in Denver. It goes from 5 Points to the airport, and I represent over 70 schools in Denver. And so I have been on the board for 1 year and 3 months. I stepped in to complete Landry Taylor's term, and it's been the most rewarding and challenging experience that I've had, probably professionally. The opportunity for me to impact our over 90,000 students in our district has been amazing, and the perspective of being the first immigrant to serve on the board, being a parent and a professional and an owner of a small business, I think all help inform what I've been able to bring.
You know what's really powerful is, and now you're running for the seat.
Yes, I am. The 1 year and 3 months has been, it hasn't scared me off. I know what it takes. I know the time commitment. I know the energy that it requires and the mind space. I mean, it's a complex system.
And it's a volunteer position.
It's a volunteer position. And I do it because I care about the kids.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anybody who, a lot of people on boards and, school board, it's got to be a passion. It's got to be nobody would step up and just do all of that and
Yeah.
just, this is volunteer time. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
you're working a full position, a wife, children, and school board.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And I think that it's so important. I mean, it's one of the most important races, I think, right now that's going on. The education of our students is, I think, one of the most critical issues of our city. And I know that when our children thrive, when they're doing well, our community is going to thrive too. They're our greatest asset. And we need
Wow.
to celebrate our students and lift them up and challenge them and encourage them to be good citizens of our city.
So basically what we're doing is Rachele and I, we're going to be having a conversation at Brother Jeff's Cultural Center in August.
Yep.
But we're
Looking
just
forward
kind
to
of
it.
saying hello today because we've given an opportunity for Tay Anderson to talk with all of you, and I see that Tay is watching this interview
Great.
Or this conversation. We had an opportunity to talk with Jennifer Bacon.
Yep.
Two great candidates, and then now we're going to get a chance to hang out with you.
I'm so glad.
So, and then hopefully in the future, all three of us, four of us, will get together, and then you all can have a collective conversation. But I really want people to just meet the candidates for who they are.
Thank you.
In their own words, and answer questions that people are asking, and just to get to know,
Yeah.
who your representatives are.
I absolutely agree. I mean, the most rewarding part of this role so far, Brother Jeff, has really been around meeting so many community members and leaders and students and parents, and the opportunity to understand in a more deeper level what the concerns are and the interests are has been so valuable for me. Getting out into the schools, I've been to almost every school in my district at this point, and meeting with school leaders has been helpful to inform the work that we do at the board.
What has been your greatest learning in terms of, I know you said there's been some rewards, some challenges, but what now, a year and 3 months, what is the, like, whoa, I learned this, or I didn't know this, or I didn't expect this, or this is what is the it?
The it. So I think part of it is recognizing the complexity of the situations that we're in right now in our education, in our district. And so there are so many different nuances in terms of the history of particular neighborhoods, how schools have been performing in some neighborhoods and not in others, and understanding the policies behind that. I think one of the lenses that I bring is around systems work. And so while I believe that a lot of the work that we need to do is at the individual level and with our teachers and our school leaders and school buildings, I also recognize that there are some systematic policy impacts that we've had in our district, systemic racism that exists in our district and in our city. And so how that impacts our students is very real in our families. And so if we don't make changes at both levels, both at the individual level and the systems level, we're not going to really have systems change. And so I like to really take that big strategic framework of looking at all levels to make sure that we're creating lasting change for our students. The change I want to make should be generational.
Wow.
We shouldn't have to come back to conversations about the opportunity gap in 20 years.
You have a powerful story about immigration, and that immigration story it's just been pronounced in this latest political climate. Mm-hmm. You're from the Philippines.
Yep.
And talk a little bit about, the story of immigration.
Yeah. So our family came to the United States for what we thought was a temporary visit when I was a toddler. And when we were in Michigan, Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law. And so my grandparents told my parents that it would be probably better for them to stay in the United States. And I know that changed our life trajectory in terms of where I grew up and what my experiences would be as a child and the different kinds of opportunities I would have. And I also saw my parents really struggle with getting their U.S. citizenship. It took them 13 years to get their citizenship. And so I know the power of perseverance in the midst of a lot of challenge. And my husband's family has a very different kind of story in terms of how they came to the United States as political refugees from Vietnam. And escaping on a boat in the middle of the night and eventually being picked up by a Swedish supertanker that brought them to Hong Kong.
Wow.
And they were almost turned away when they were in Hong Kong, but a wealthy Vietnamese businessman came by and offered everyone on the boat 1 year to stay in his hotel on the top 2 floors and gave them all free room and board while they got their paperwork in order. And
Wow.
you just, I mean...
Incredible stories.
Yeah.
Perseverance, overcoming opportunities.
Yes.
And then giving back.
And absolutely giving back. And that's critical. That's crucial for me. I mean, I've always watched my mom do that in our community, that she always gave back and volunteered wherever she could. And I've grown up with that ethic as well, that I recognize I've grown up with a lot of privilege. I've had opportunity for education, which my parents always said would be my inheritance, would be your education. They
Wow.
would support me with that. And I truly appreciate that, something no one can take away from me ever.
Right.
And so I now am in a place where I can give back to community and share the experiences I've had and what I have learned professionally along the way as well.
You know, that's a powerful, powerful statement, giving the legacy of education to your children.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know, nothing beats that.
Nothing does. And you
Nothing
always
beats
have
that.
it.
And, you know. Okay, we're going to get ready to sign off because
Yeah.
we're just really setting this. Listen, there have been some questions that have come
Okay.
up, but we're going to address those questions in August.
That sounds great.
specifically because we're going to spend, you know, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Cultural Center. I think it's August. What is the date? Do we know? It's in my phone.
You should have written it down.
We'll write it down. It's the 3rd week of August. It's, gosh, you have your phone?
Okay, I do.
We set this.
Love it.
We set this
Keyword,
date.
us
We're going to
prepared.
spend a couple of hours with Dr. Espiritu. Now, she's running for school board against Tay Anderson and Jennifer Bacon. We've had long conversations with the other 2 candidates, and we want to give our community an opportunity to have equal time with Dr. Espiritu because, you know, these are incredible candidates. You see the date?
Yep. August 24th, Thursday.
August 24th, Thursday at Brother Jeff's Cultural Center. We are going to spend time with Dr. Espiritu. And you can ask all of your questions then. You can meet and greet. It's just going to be free-flowing right here in 5 Points. You know what was so cool?
What?
We were trying to, you know, when we deal with politicians, we kind of try to get a feel. And I mean, not saying like the politician per se.
Yeah,
You
can
know what
I
I mean?
say that
But-
I've had no political
Yeah.
experience before? Like when I stepped into this, people were like, what are you doing? And it's been amazing.
You know, we said, okay, so is she going to come up by herself? Because we're in 5 Points. We're at the office. We're like, is she going to come by herself or is she going to come with like the handlers and other folks?
Oh.
She came right up these stairs by herself,
Of
just like a
course.
cool little, like a cool sister, you know, just.
Brother Jeff, I have been all around my district. I love it. I love the diversity of my district. I love being a representative of the oldest neighborhoods in Denver as well as the newest neighborhoods, and that diversity to me is amazing, and that's what our community thrives on, and I want to celebrate it, bring people together, collaborate as much as we can to help support our kids.
You know,
So-
it's just real cool to see how comfortable you are in different communities.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, everybody's not that comfortable.
Yeah. Well, it's partially, one, I feel like I've had just amazing exposure growing up. And two, this is my life work. I do work across systems. I work with community-based organizations across the country that are working to address health disparities. I bring diverse perspectives together to collaborate for common goals. And I love it. It's at the heart of what I do.
What are some of the most common misconceptions about your position on the school board or the school board in general, where, you know, it's like, that's not really what this is about? What are there any just misconceptions that, like, if you were able to clear something up, what would it be?
I think it's probably something that's been around for a while, is the idea of a 7-0 board. And I think that the the thinking that we're all the same is probably one of the biggest misconceptions that there could be out there. We each bring such different experiences and perspectives and interests to the board because we represent also such different neighborhoods as well. But what I like about our board is that we are in alignment in terms of what our vision is. And I think that's absolutely crucial when you're doing any kind of systems transformation. Because if you don't have a common goal or a North Star that's guiding you in terms of where you want to be, you're going to be taking different paths all over the place, and you're not going to get any work done.
Look, I'm looking forward to our conversation August 24th.
Yes.
And we're going to be at Brother Jeff's Cultural Center from 6 to 8. It's free. It's open to the public. You're going to get to meet another school board candidate, Dr. Rachele Espiritu. And I'm glad you brought up the 7-0 kind of misconception, because I'm like one of the #1 purveyors of that 7-0 thing. I'm like,
let's talk more about that.
Yeah, so in August
month.
we're going to talk. We're going to get into the 7-0 thing, because I'm always like, I hear that a lot, and so I don't know if it's how accurate that is, but I often say it. I'm like, this 7-0. And so we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to talk about funding.
Sure.
I already saw a question coming up about funding.
Okay.
Someone talked about how you have been able to address systemic bias, etc. At the level. We're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
We're not dodging anything right now. We're just setting up a conversation for you all to come and join us again. Now, let's end with this. How can people get in touch with your campaign? Because I understand on the 22nd.
Yep.
You're going to be doing is it a kickoff?
Yeah, I'd love for everyone to join us. We're going to have a campaign kickoff at Rep. Coleman's house on July 22nd from 6 to 7:30. And the information's on my Facebook page, which is Espiritu for Denver, or my website, which is RachelleForDenver.com, and 4 is FOR.
Wow.
Spelled out.
Well, all of you have some dynamic supporters.
Yeah.
I'm like, incredible supporters. You know what I mean? And so, I know when you said Representative Coleman, that's James Coleman.
Yep, he's been awesome.
James Coleman, he's a superstar. I mean, if there's a rising star in our community, it's Representative Coleman. And so for him to be a part of your team is incredible. You know what really made me think a lot more about your candidacy was Vernon Jones Jr.
Oh, yes.
See, now, listen, I thought for sure that was going to be, Tay Anderson slam dunk, because Vernon is a huge champion, and especially of what was going on at Manual. Yeah. And so to see the diversity in the direction in terms of where people are laying their support, I just wish and I hope that people could understand that there are different views, but it doesn't have to be confrontational. You don't have to be, okay, now you left, now we're mortal enemies.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think that has been a crucial part of my work, is that relationships matter to me. And we might not always agree on how to get to our North Star, and that's fine. But that it's important for me to still hear perspective and understand, so I can know what the themes are in community. And that's important. I listen to understand what the themes are and what the critical issues are. And my relationship with Pastor Jones has been amazing. I think he knows that I'm extremely passionate about taking a trauma-informed lens to our work and recognizing that many of our communities have experienced a lot of suffering and trauma that we need to address, that we need to be able to heal as a community and move on and figure out what is the most productive pathway to supporting our kids after we've experienced some trauma in a community.
Wow. Well, I'm a huge fan of Vernon Jones Jr.
Me too.
All things that, I mean, there are several people I go to as like just point people around educational policy. And he's one. So again, when he said, I'm with Rachele, I'm like, I got to take a closer look. You know what I mean? Then Mayor Webb says, I'm with Tay. I'm like, I got to get where everybody's got to take, a very close look. Jose and others are with Jennifer Bacon. I'm just really looking forward to spending more time with you, meeting you, and just seeing the stuff that you're doing. Because incredible story. We have 3 great candidates. You guys are gonna have. I don't know how you're gonna untangle this. I don't know. I don't know. But I could tell you, August 24th. I see your questions coming up. We will talk about Gilpin.
Yep.
Absolutely. We will talk about funding. We will talk about the trauma-informed approach to these communities, and also what it takes to work in this big. You said this is the largest school district. District 2?
District 4.
I mean, District 4.
It is.
Yeah. District 2 is the police district.
Yeah. I still get confused by all the different boundaries.
We're in the District 2
right.
police district. We're in the District 4 education district.
Right.
So you're
right.
You're
I
running for
represent
District
the
4.
near northeast and far northeast area.
So you've gotta reach 5 Points, Stapleton, Green Valley Ranch,
Montbello,
North Park Hill,
Whittier.
Whittier.
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Wow. All I can say is wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm not necessarily I wouldn't say critical voice. I use my voice. I have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because I'm a voter.
Yeah.
And I'm an engaged citizen. And when I say things, it's not like I'm just being hostile or bitter or ugly or mean, because very respectful. You can say what you agree with, what you disagree with, because that's what that's what it is to have an elected official.
Exactly.
That's how you use your voice.
Right. And I think part of it too is ensuring that I as an elected official bring the voice back to the board.
Mm-hmm.
That my role is not to say from my board perspective, here's what we're going to do to your community. It's really about what can we do with community, and I really take that seriously, and I've been working tremendously hard with our FACE team and our public affairs team. They've been turning around how DPS engages with community, and I like what I've seen them do in the past year. There's been a real turn, and I'm excited to continue to work towards that because I know that's what we need.
Well, I can see that you're committed, you're passionate, well, certainly qualified, willing to do this work. That's super admirable. I mean, when we talk in August, I'm going to tell you, I'm like there are certain things with DPS that just, I don't even know if I don't know if disgust is just like the right word. You know what I mean? The dismal, and I'm not saying answer any of this right now, but I want to just say the dismal outcomes, generation after generation of black people out of that system, it just drives me bananas.
Yeah, and it's something that was clearly outlined in Dr. Bailey's report, and I appreciated the community process we went through in order to get recommendations on how to address this, and I know it was challenging work and a lot of raw conversations around systemic racism and individual racism and biases that we all hold. And at the same time, I feel like now we've got these 100+ equity champions that are engaged in this work that will help continue to drive the change we need to see and want to see, and I am right there with them. I am a big proponent of getting more diversity in our teacher talent, and I know my son had his first Asian teacher last year, his first. I didn't have my first until I was in college, so at least he had his a little earlier.
Great.
But the engagement that he displayed from having a teacher who he could relate to in a completely different way was amazing.
Wow.
And as a parent, I want that for every child, and I want that to happen more than once for every child in our school district. And that's important, And so what does that then mean for the policies that we have in place, for our HR. You know, I think those are a lot of things that we as a district need to be transforming and improving so that we create those practices in the district.
I'm looking forward. Okay, everybody, we're going to sign off because we're just kind of whetting your appetite for a dynamic conversation we're going to have. And I already could tell that Dr. Espiritu is not back away from the tough questions, the tough discussions, and you know, she understands and is willing to address community and hear from community. I'm looking forward to our conversation about the 7-0.
Yeah.
The 7-0 piece, because I'm just, you know, I'm the one that, okay, I've told you all that it's 7-0 board. We're going to clear this up.
Well, here's what I'll challenge you on.
Yeah, okay, give me some homework.
Yeah, I'm going to share with you training that I do around ladders. It's called the Ladders of Assumption.
Ladders of Assumption.
And it's where we sometimes take, and we all do it, we'll take a piece of information and we'll add meaning onto it. And we'll continue to add meaning onto it. And if we never test it, then we're making assumptions about something and we act as if it's true.
Exactly. I do that all the time.
We all do it. It's all human nature.
And I'm all over that with the 7-0 piece. So I can't wait till you to help me with this one.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about that.
What I usually say is, like, in my head, like, if I don't have like in any given situation, if I don't have an answer, I'll make one up until I'm able to get the answer. It? Yeah, test it. And so I say, you know, I got a drunken monkey inside my, you know, it just goes, you know, it's a film director. It makes some incredible films, just like, you know, so I got to, you know, that's why we sit down, we talk, we dialogue, we say, what is this true? Yep. Let's look at the data of this and say, you know, if this is clearly untrue, if we're being authentic, then we're willing to change our perspective of something. Right. You know.
And I think we each as board members also have a role to play in that too, in terms of being more intentional about how we go through our own decision-making processes. Because I think that goes back to the fact that when we have a common vision, we most likely will align in terms of a decision. We may not always agree exactly on how we get there, and we might have different practices that we want to see put into place. But ultimately, our goal is to have every child succeed. I mean, that is our ultimate North Star.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the children, it's the students. It's like, how can we get equal footing and equal opportunity for all of them, regardless of zip code? Exactly. You know, social economic status and all those different things. Okay, everybody. We're going to end. You know, you've got a choice to make in November. There are 3 incredible candidates running for school board district number 4. Tay Anderson, Jennifer Bacon, and Dr. Rachele Espiritu. So we want you to follow this race closely. Nothing more important than our children. We're going to have a one-on-one conversation August 24th, Brother Jeff's Cultural Center, 6 to 8, free and open to the public. Bring your questions. Meet an incredible, dynamic board member spending a lot of volunteer hours doing this passionate work, and then you'll get an opportunity to make a decision. Last words are yours.
They're mine. Well, please visit me at RacheleForDenver.com, and I'm so excited to be your current member of the board, as well as am absolutely ready, eager, and willing to be your school board member for the next 4 years.
All right.
Thank you.
She came by herself, right up, just like, you know, that's impressive.
It's normal. I'm like, I don't even know why you're complimenting me on that.
I know. See, so now, see, there you guys. See, there you're getting a glimpse into, you know, your representative. What it is normal, and it's like, okay, we're gonna end. August 24th, 6-8 p.m.
Be there.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, see, look. Oh, see. Well, we're okay. So, Cassandra, we're not going to set the date with all 3 of them until after we meet with Dr. Espiritu. So that'll be a little later. That will be past August, but it will happen. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. There we go.